Come with us on a moonlight walk around Rome. We start this episode on a walking tour we did, starting in the beautiful Piazza Navona with its spectacular 3 fountains. We tell you what the plaza used to be used for, but not for long, as the locals from centuries ago actually didn't think it was manly enough. Next, we wander the streets and pass by the incredible Pantheon with its dome that is the biggest unsupported dome in the world and has 16 imposing columns that are the entrance to the now Catholic Church. Of course, we could go to the Trevi Fountain, which by day is special, but at night, just wow. I throw some coins in the fountain and we tell you about the coin throwing myths and exactly how much money they collect from the fountain each day. And it's certainly an eye-watering amount of money, and we also tell you what they do with that money. Next, I tell you and Lyle, because he didn't know, that there is a social media craze that people are doing as an alternative to the coin tossing. Next on our night tour of Rome is Piazza Venezia, which is a huge chaotic roundabout surrounded by historical buildings. One of the major ones is an unpopular, enormous building that the locals don't like and have given it a couple of nicknames. Mussolini's typewriter is one, and the other is the wedding cake. You'll have to click on the link in this episode description in the player you're listening on now to see the pictures in the show notes and see which one you think is the right name. Of course, it's a short walk from the piazza to the Colosseum, past Trajan's column and the Roman Forum, which are all lit up and are just glowing in the night. Wandering around the Colosseum at night time is a memory that you will never forget. We take you to some other special nighttime spots, including the Spanish Steps and Piazza Spagna, and tell you all about the Italian fashion parade that you see walking the streets every night. Boy, those Italians have some nice outfits. Lastly, you will come with us to our favourite little hidden bar right in the heart of Rome, the Highlander. It has so much atmosphere, something happening every night, and you can watch any sport that is on live TV, and they have some of the friendliest bar staff you will ever meet. It would be fabulous if you could give us a follow or a subscribe on the player you are listening on right now. It means you won't miss an upcoming episode and really helps the podcast get discovered by more people. So thank you for doing that. And please enjoy episode 68, all about Rome at night. Cheers! And welcome to the Beach Travel Wine Podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Leanne.
And I'm Lyle, and this is the travel podcast for beach-loving, wine-drinking couples over 50.
So if that sounds like you, grab yourself a drink, sit back, relax and listen as we go travelling the world, one wine at a time.
Cheers.
Good morning, Lyle, and welcome to the Beach Travel Wine Podcast studio.
Buongiorno, Leonita.
Now, I'm feeling very beach travel winey because...
You've got your T-shirt on.
I've got my Beach Travel Wine T-shirt on. I've got my Beach Travel Wine Eau de Parfum that I made, and that's a story for another day, but, you know, I've made my own beach travel wine.
I wonder where you were going
perfume.
with that.
And we're sitting here and we're looking at the beach, right? And
it's a beautiful day.
A perfect day. We're going to have a wine later because it's only morning. It's a bit early. But the travel part, we're going to bring you now because we are traveling back to Rome, yes?
See.
And today's episode is all about a moonlight walk around the marvels of Rome that we did. Now, some of these places we have talked about in previous episodes, but, you know, we did a guided walk and we got lots of new information, and we're just going to tell you about we did go to some new places and just how beautiful it is at night.
Yes, we did, and our tour guide was Luis from España.
Yeah, he was great, wasn't he? Yeah. Now, we started, though, in Piazza Navona. Now, this is one of those places that we were told by so many people, you need to go to this plaza. It's beautiful, it's beautiful, it's beautiful. So we went there a bit early, bit before the sunset tour started. And wow, it's this massive big plaza that used to be what would it used to be?
Yeah, it was built on the site of the Stadium of Domitian. Our guide showed us the ancient ruins of the Stadium of Domitian, hidden about 4.5 metres below the street level. So he actually showed us where that was. Yeah, it was like glassed in. Yeah.
Will you tell us a bit more about it, and then I'll tell them what we did and what we saw, yeah?
Yeah, the Stadium of Domitian was inaugurated in 86 AD.
So the plaza was a stadium? They built on top of this stadium.
So the intentions were to raise awareness and involve the Romans in practicing more athletic sports.
Like little athletics.
Yeah, par excellence.
They didn't like it though, did they?
Well, and I think mainly because of the fact that Domitian was a bit of he favoured the non-violent sports.
Oh yeah, they prefer to be gladiators.
Yeah, they wanted to watch gladiators. So the locals actually thought it was quite unmanly.
Okay,
so
like
anyway,
shot put or javelin and stuff.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff. So
hey, I'll cut the head off and you throw it. That would have worked, wouldn't it?
I would have thought so.
Sorry, go on.
So Piazza Navona was transferred into the highly significant example of Baroque Roman architecture and art during the pontification the Pope of Innocence X, who reigned from 1644 until 1655, and whose family palace, the Palazzo Pantheon, faced the piazza. So a little bit of graft and corruption there, I would have thought.
So what they did was they built the plaza and
right opposite the family
church. Yeah.
No, the family
palace.
Palace.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So
in the centre stands the famous fountain of the Four Rivers.
Okay.
That was built in 1651 by our new favourite sculptor, by Gian Lorenzo Bernini.
Can I tell people what that looks like now?
Yeah, sure.
Well, you describe it a bit more, like
Well, it's basically topped by an obelisk of Domitian, brought in pieces from the Circus Maxentius.
Right.
The Four Rivers are represented. That is the Nile from Africa, the Ganges of Asia, the Danube from Europe, and the Rio del Plata of the Americas.
Okay, so this statue is right in the middle of the plaza, and it's probably the most dominant feature because it's right out front of the church, which you're going to tell us about in a minute. But as Lyle said, it represents four rivers. So there's four sort of sculptures, at the bottom, and each one's representing the river. And there's, water coming, fountains, spurting down into the big base, which is this great big round pond, and then above that is that massive big obelisk. It is so impressive and so beautiful. I've got lots of photos of that. I went a bit berserk actually with the fountains on our website at beachtravelwine.com, episode 68. And as I said, you can walk around it, and because we were there sort of at the end of the day, the sun was starting to go down, and just the colours, the changing of the colours on the fountain and the water. It was just it was magnificent, wasn't it? So it's huge.
Yeah, look, it is.
And I've said, do you think the Trevi Fountain is impressive? Which it is. You got to see this one.
Yeah, it's a close second.
Yeah.
If second.
Sure.
Now, opposite, that particular fountain is the Church of St. Agnes by Francesco Borromini.
Mm-hmm.
Now, St. Agnes was a martyr, and
the story goes.
Yeah, she was an early Christian and was martyred in the ancient stadium of Domitian, only 12 years old. Now, the legend has it that they tried to burn her at the stake, but she wouldn't.
She was a witch. Yeah.
Yeah, she wouldn't catch fire.
So they chopped her head off.
So they decapitated her. Mm-hmm. So that's that church.
And I've got some pictures of the church too. But just to describe it, it's got the big dome and it's got the spires, and it's right sort of at the bottom end of the plaza. And it sort of dominates. When you walk into the plaza, there's these beautiful buildings, which is sort of the yellow colours and the oranges, and then it's in the middle of that there's this massive church, and out the front they've got all these street sort of artists and things. There's people doing the portraits and selling the street food, and people walking around in costumes and things. It's pretty nice, and that's down the end, one end of the plaza. So check out that church because you can go in and have a look at that one.
Yeah, and there's another two fountains.
Yeah.
At the southern end is the Fontana de Moro with a basin and four tritons sculptured by Giacomo del Porta in 1575, to which In 1673, Bernini added a statue of Moore wrestling with a dolphin.
Yep. That's
Now, the
third one.
The third,
which is probably my favourite.
is at the northern end,
Yeah.
is the Fountain of Neptune. That
Yeah.
was sculpted in 1574, also created by Giacomo del Porta. The statue of Neptune by Antonio del Bitti was added in 1878 to create a balance with La Fontana del Moro.
Okay, so all that sort of artists going on, and they added bits to it. But I like this one because it's sort of close to the ground, and it's not a star shape, but the outside of it is like quite, what's the word, jagged, you know, like, it's not a round circle, and it's probably 30 centimetres, but it's so wide that the fountain and the sculptures are in the middle, so it takes up quite a big space. And just to try to get a photo of all of that, but if you stand at one side you can see all the beautiful coloured buildings, and if you're another side you can see the church. And then we actually sat and had dinner.
Correct.
Because as I said, we went early, and we were sort of up near this fountain, and it's beautiful. And the other thing that they've got in this plaza, which they have all over Rome, but they have these free water places like fountains. So right near the top fountain, the Neptune fountain, is this little ancient little place where you can go and fill your water bottle up and stuff. So there's lots of kids splashing around in the water there. So you can actually sit on the edge of this one, and I just thought it was really beautiful. And it's a big plaza. It's just beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah, just to explain, to go back a step, with the fountains, there's two parts to the fountain. There's actually the creation of the fountain, the basin as they call it, and then the second part of that is actually the statue that goes into the fountain. So that's why there's two. We've mentioned two people that created the actual fountains.
Oh, is that why?
That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
So now, do you know which movies were filmed around that particular
I do. There was
plaza?
one. Yes, there was one with Tom Hanks, Angels and Demons.
Correct.
Yay. And I don't know. That's all I remember.
Okay. There was another fabulous movie in 1970, Catch-22.
Yep.
Then you've got National Lampoon Vacation.
Funny one.
And probably one of my favourites was American Assassin in 2017.
Oh, I'll have to watch that one.
You will.
So we all met for our little gathering at the Piazza Navona, and then we left there on our moonlight walk, and we headed towards the Pantheon, but we went past this really interesting building, the Temple of Hadrian. Do you pronounce the H?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, it's look, as you're walking along in doing this particular tour, you're going past a whole bunch of very, very historical buildings, and they're all lit up beautifully. So as we headed towards the Pantheon, we passed the Palazzo Madama, which is the seat of the Italian Senate. Now, construction started in the late 15th century and was completed in 1505.
See, I get those two mixed up, sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, and that was for, have a guess who?
Yeah.
The Medici family.
Medici, yeah.
Now,
I was going to say Cosimo, but Medici family.
Yeah. It housed two Medici cardinals who both later became popes.
Right.
Catherine de Medici also lived here before she was married to Henry, son of King Francis I of France, in 1533. Cardinal Francesco Maria del Monte, patron of artist Caravaggio, lived there until his death in 1627.
Okay. Yeah.
And from what I can gather, Cardinal del Monte was a bit of a party animal, and so it was very well known for lots of parties.
Yeah, okay, so that's very close to the Piazza Navona.
Yes, then, as you said, we passed the Temple of Hadrian. Now,
well, it's Adrian spelt with a H, but sometimes the H is silent in the Romance languages. So anyway, sorry, Adrian or Hadrian, whatever you want to say, yeah?
Yeah, well, the Temple of Hadrian was for the worship of Emperor Hadrian, who reigned 117 to 130 AD. It was built by his successor's son, in this case by Antonius Pius, who dedicated his temple in 145 AD. Now, once again, it was an adopted son.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the things that Adrian were famous for, Adrian's Wall is the most visible and best known land frontier of the Roman Empire, the most important and substantial of Roman remains in Britain.
Yeah, so there's Hadrian's Temple we're talking about, but there was also a big wall.
Yeah, sure.
From one side of Britain to the other.
And he also basically was the last emperor to, after the Pantheon was destroyed by fire, he actually rebuilt it. So he was actually responsible for the Pantheon as well. Now, this particular wall, which blew me away, and because I ended up going back and having a look at the map of
England,
the UK, and where Adrian's Wall was. Now, it actually is UNESCO World Heritage listed, and it goes from coast to coast, and it's 73 miles across, or 135 kilometres.
Right, but back to Rome and the temple. Yes, is this is the one with the columns, yeah?
Yeah. It's rectangularly, rectangular shaped temple.
What shape is it?
Rectangular.
Good. Yep.
Shaped temple was designed with 15 columns on the longer side, while 8 columns lined the shorter sides.
Yeah. So massive columns. Yeah.
So, and the good thing about this particular one, every night at dusk, there's a very cool free 10-minute sound and light show at the temple in the Piazza di Pietra. Now, the show introduces you to the emperor and his various projects, which include the wall, the villa in Tivoli, and the Pantheon.
Cool. Okay. Well then
we're right at the Pantheon.
Yeah, that's a segue. Now, we went to the Pantheon Plaza a couple of times just to have a coffee in the daytime, and I knew it would be expensive and all that stuff, but it's a pretty nice. You've got the Pantheon, then you've got like a small piazza with a statue in the middle, but it's a nice spot to sit and people watch and just look across at the Pantheon. It's massive, right?
What do you talk about having the coffee? Remember there was one of the cafes that was the first time we actually got, they tried to charge us a 10% service charge.
Yeah, like first tip.
Yeah. So, and
he didn't like
it wasn't on the bill, but basically they stand there with hands open like, what about the 10%?
Yeah.
So they're obviously used to American tourists that basically...
Or people that pay it,
Yeah.
But I've got some really nice pictures of the Pantheon, and, especially at this time when the sun's going down and moonlight and stuff, and it's, it's got like all these rows of massive big columns out the front, and then it's got the dome, which you're going to tell us about at the back, and, there's also a photo of the fountain and the obelisk in the middle of the piazza. It's pretty impressive, isn't it? And you can see by the photos the people in it, how little they are compared to the size of this building. So tell us a bit about what is the Pantheon? So
it's a former Roman temple, originally commissioned by Marcus Agrippa during the reign of Augustus from 27 BC to 14 AD, who was actually Caesar's adopted son.
Okay.
Was rebuilt by Adrian in 126 AD with 16 Corinthian pillars. The dome is still the world's largest unreinforced concrete dome.
So it's as high as it is wide.
Yeah, the height of the diameter of the dome is the same at 43 meters or 142 feet.
It's pretty big, right? It's massive.
Okay, now, with the fall of the Roman Empire, as with everything else, in 609 AD, it became the Basilica Santa Maria Martyrs, which basically the Catholic Church took it over.
But they took all the decoration off it, didn't they?
Yeah, the bronze.
Yeah, because the dome was covered in bronze. They didn't want the Roman temple to be better than
the Roman temple to be better than the church, so they took all that off.
Still looks impressive though.
Oh yeah, and one of the really unique things is there's a hole or an oculus. It's 7.8 meters in diameter. It's and it's the source of light. It's the only source of light, so there's no electricity.
No.
And the deal is that it was the connection between the temple and the gods above.
Yeah. And I've got a photo of that from right underneath the hole, and you can see the dome and the light sort of shining in through that, and that's on our website with episode 68.
Yeah, so obviously occasionally
It rains.
it rains, and that will go through the oculus and lands on the floor. But the way they built it, they slanted the floor so the rain would just dissipate. So now the Pantheon is the really big deal about the Pantheon is that it is the best preserved ancient Roman building in Rome.
Wow.
It is, mainly because of the fact that it's continuously in use. Yeah. So
now it used to be free to get in up until I think it was the 5th of July, and I think we were there on the 4th of July. But it's now, like, for people over 18, I think it's €5, isn't it, to get in?
It's a minimal cost, but I'm not sure why they did it. But it's actually controlled by not so much the church. I think it's more controlled by the state. But
it's certainly worth. You don't have to go in. You can, as I said, you can walk around the plaza there, or you can sit and have a meal or a coffee or a glass of wine or a spritz and sit right there, very close to it, and enjoy the massive building, right?
Yeah, it's been like a Christian church for over 1,400 years.
Yeah.
So, and they have weekly masses on the Sunday.
Yeah, okay. But then it was time to move on, wasn't it?
It was.
So before we take you to the Trevi Fountain at night, which was pretty magical, I just want to read this pretty cool review that we got. It says, I absolutely love listening to Leanne and Lyle talk about their adventures each week. They're a fun Aussie couple who always make me laugh, while also sharing plenty of practical tips and interesting info about places to visit around the world. If you're planning a trip, I highly recommend listening to any relevant episodes on your destination. You'll not only find out insider travel tips, but also where is the best spot to enjoy a nice glass of wine. So that was pretty nice, wasn't it?
That was perfecto. Grazie.
Yeah, well done. Here's your $20 for that, Lyle. But that's us in a nutshell.
Sure.
We give you the tips and, where you can have a glass of wine. Yeah, I love that. So let's get back to the Trevi Fountain. Now, we had, as in one of our previous episodes, we talked about the Trevi Fountain, but you're going to give us a little bit of info on it before we tell you the big thing about the coins.
Look, the Trevi Fountain during the day is magnificent.
Sure.
The Trevi Fountain at night is almost unimaginably beautiful. It is absolutely spectacular.
And it is, and you see these horror photos of crowds and how bad it is. I think the problem is it's the plaza area around it is small.
Yeah, it's not big, no, not at all.
And so you have all those people in a small area. And even at night, it was quite busy.
Well, the other side of it too, it's connected to that building, that palace. So
you can't go around one side.
You can't go around one side. So, but look, it's magnificent.
And we got down to throw some coins in, but you tell people a bit about it.
Yeah, for those that haven't listened to the last podcast, the immense fountain
surely not
stands 85 feet or 26 meters high and is approximately 160 feet or 49 meters wide.
Yeah, so it's massive.
At its centre is Pietro Bracca's statue of Oceanus, who stands atop a chariot pulled by seahorses, as in accompanied by tritons.
Yeah,
these are fish-tailed sea gods, torsos of a man and tails of a fish. The Palazzo Poli, which is the building we were just talking about, is the palace that was altered in the 18th century to form the backdrop to the Trevi Fountain.
So you think it's sort of part of the fountain, but it's a building and it's got sort of, columns and windows and statues in sort of reset places. And, and then you've got as you were saying, the fountain with the seahorses and pulling it. And then they're sort of on jagged rocks. And then, the water's pouring into the fountain area.
And the water's just so blue. Like it's incredible, which is obviously the white marble underneath. So, now, you want to know about the myth.
Well,
the myth,
yeah. Well, I think people are a bit confused about the myth. I think people believe, and, myths are all over the place, you can make a wish when you throw it in, right?
Look, it was all based on the movie Three Coins in a Fountain that was back in the 1950s. and that starred, I think it was Audrey Hepburn and Gregory Peck.
Right.
Okay, now you're looking at me as though, just get on with it, Lord. Just tell them what it is. Fair enough. All right.
So you go down, like what you do is you find yourself a little spot on the edge of the fountain. Yes.
Correct.
Which we did. And then you take your coins. Yes.
Yeah, that's correct.
And you take it in your right hand.
Yep.
And you throw it over your left shoulder.
Perfecto.
And into the water. Now, if you throw one coin.
Correct.
It means that you will return to Italy or Rome.
Rome in the future.
In the future. You throw number two. So you get another coin, throw it over, and that means that you will meet the love of your life.
You'll fall in love with an attractive Italian.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you already had me, so you're pretty right.
A little Irishman, but anyway.
That's a bit untidy. But then, anyway, hang on. Yeah, go on. What's the third one?
The third one is then you will marry them.
Yes, you'll marry that person that you met. So,
now, before you tell everybody how much they take out of this, all the coins, because everyone's doing it.
Taking a bit of my thunder there, girl. But anyway, go on.
That's my job. I'm going to let you tell them, though. I'm not going to do that. You can do that. But what I'm going to say is I've been seeing or targeted with videos on Instagram, etc. And I didn't actually see it happen for real, but people are trying to be funny and they take their credit card down and swipe it through the water.
I haven't seen that.
Yes. I know. Yeah.
The world's full of smart asses, isn't it?
Right?
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't do it.
Yeah, well, anyway, next time. So anyway, well, it's been done now, but and so it gets cleaned out.
Okay, so the word Trevi refers to the small piazza it sits in,
yes,
and the three roads that meet in that piazza. So obviously Trevi's three. The cleaning of the fountain takes place twice a week, and it includes the collection of the coins.
Right.
Now that those 2 days are Monday and Friday at 8 a.m.
Right.
Now the average Trevi Fountain takes is about €3,000 a day, about $3,300 a day. It's pretty substantial.
Well, I've heard figures from €1.4 million up to €2 million. I guess it depends on the season, but per year.
I was going to say not per day.
No, per year. So that's a shitload of coins going in there, right?
Yeah, and where's it go?
To charity.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I reckon. There's been sort of a few things happening. Somebody's put black ink in there and all that sorts of stuff. But most of the time it's a beautiful place to visit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty pristine, really.
And I've got and the photos at night are really nice. And as we're moving on through our walk, I think everyone had a gelato here as well, because that's sort of a thing to do. And we're walking with our group. The sun's going down, the moon's coming up. The sky's getting darker. It's really beautiful. So we left the Trevi Fountain.
Hang on, just before we leave, what about that? I think you've got to have patience at the Trevi Fountain, because remember there was that lady in front of you that was really giving you the shits.
Hey, this is a family show. I think what I started to say earlier was it's always crowded, but 99% of people, they go down to the front. There's sort of 3 levels and so you want to go down to the first level, so you're right at the edge, and you can see the photos of us. We had a lot of fun. But you go down, you take your photo, and you move on.
Yep.
Whereas it wasn't just me. There was one lady who, she wasn't sort of close enough to someone that you could sit next to, because people sitting next to each other and taking, just trying to share. But she had her stuff, and she was there, and I don't know how, she was there before we took our photo, and she was there after we took our photo, and she's pretending to pray, she's pretending to meditate, she's do all these poses just over and over and over. And eventually me and probably 10 other people just walked between her and her photographer, because, they're just like 2 people with their phone, because she'd had her time and it was not fair. So, yes, I was a bit impatient, but, we got our photos and we left.
We did. Leanne's punching me in the leg.
You're going to make me sound like a real goose. Thank you.
No, not really. I thought you were right.
Okay. And we got nice photos. So
we did.
Yes. So, but then, as I said, it was time to move on. Next up, we walked not that far from Trevi Fountain. Really, nothing's that far, is it? In the centre of Rome.
No, we basically went back to Via del Corso.
Yeah.
And again, that's because of all the upmarket and high-end brand shops. They're all beautiful.
Yeah.
The shop fits and all that stuff.
That's the main road that connects Piazza Popolo to Piazza Venezia, which
Correct.
is where we were heading, Piazza Venezia.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've got a really nice photo of the Corso from Piazza Venezia all the way through. You can see it sort of, running right through the centre of Rome, and that's at beachtravelwine.com, episode 68.
Yeah, look, it takes its name from Palazzo Venezia, built by the Venetian Cardinal Pietro Barbo, alongside the Church of St. Mark, the patron saint of Venice. Now, Pietro Barbo eventually became Pope Paul II. The Piazza Venezia is the home of the National Museum of Palazzo Venezia and the National Institute of Archaeology and History of Art. How did I go?
You did
Archaeology.
No, archaeology.
Archaeology. Oh my God, I've been practicing that. So archaeology, but I got it. Like yesterday, I had no chance. But anyway, so Piazza Venezia.
Archaeology is the study of arches.
Now you've just been a smart ass.
Yeah, that's it.
That's like you swiping your credit card through the Trevi Fountain.
Righto, off you go.
People are starting to realise what you're like.
Mm-hmm. It's only taken 68 episodes.
Yeah. Piazza Venezia was the location of public speeches given by the Italian dictator Mussolini to crowds of his supporters in the 1920s through to the 1940s. Palazzo Venezia was the headquarters of the fascist government of Mussolini.
And we've got a photo of that sort of building that he gave the speeches from. It's a pretty rectangular, imposing building, right?
Yeah,
on one of the edges.
It's pretty austere,
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
It's more like a fortress than a palace. Yeah. Now, Benito Mussolini was an Italian nationalist and founder of the Italian fascism. He ruled Italy from 1922 to 1925 as a prime minister, and from 1925 to 1943 as Il Duce, the fascist dictator. And he was actually by trade a journalist.
Okay, that's it, yeah.
So
the Piazza Venezia, just to give you a bit of a description, it's not actually an open plaza. It's sort of like a massive roundabout. And it's just been in that new Mission Impossible movie that we haven't seen yet, but we saw the trailer for it, and they're racing around, and we had to try and cross the road there a couple of times.
The traffic is chaotic.
Yeah, it is. It's like typical stereotype traffic that you think of in Rome. Just trying to get across. Even it was just bizarre. So there's this sort of big green area in the middle, and the road going around it, and so you've got Mussolini's, the building we're talking about on one side, and then there's sort of like a palace that Napoleon's mother. Am I getting
yes,
yeah?
as I call it.
Yes.
Neapolitan.
Yes.
No, it's Napoleon's mother, Letizia Bonaparte, lived in the famous Piazza Venezia until her death in 1836.
Now, can I talk about the building on the opposite side?
I was hoping you were.
Right, because I've got a couple of photos of this, and I've got one from right back, so you can see it's an imposing big building. Now, this building it stands out, and you're like, my God, that must be important. And and I want you to go and have a look at the pictures and tell me what you think, because it's called, it's got two sort of, nicknames. And it's either called the typewriter or Mussolini's typewriter or the wedding cake. So this building they think looks like this massive big typewriter or a wedding cake. And I think I think it's more like a wedding cake. However, because tell us about this building.
Okay, it's the Monumenta a Vittorio Emanuele II. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Alta del Patria.
Was he an archaeologist?
Or the wedding cake.
Yeah.
Go on. Okay, you're going to be like that for the rest of the day.
Yep.
Yes.
It's
Or the wedding cake. The
yeah,
Piazza Venezia Square has a white and colossal monument
this is
of
it.
Victoria Emmanuel II, also known as the, yes, I've said that,
Yes,
the
also,
altar of the fatherland. Now, it was built to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the unification of Italy
yes, okay.
and that was built between 1885 and 1927.
So basically, Mussolini built it.
Yeah, and that's why they're a bit.
They don't like it.
The Italians are not keen on it. Yeah, they
And what's inside it?
bugger all.
Nothing.
Well, I don't know where there's nothing, but
It doesn't house
it doesn't
any.
operate.
No,
Yeah.
you can go in, but they said there's nothing to see.
What did you call it? A white elephant.
Yeah, so it's that's what I said. It's a white elephant. So it's either the typewriter, Mussolini's typewriter, the wedding cake, or as I would call it, a white elephant. But go and have a look because it's impressive. It's got big horse statues.
Yeah, it's got an equestrian sculpture of Victor Emmanuel.
Yes.
Takes pride of place, while two imposing chariot guided by the goddess Victoria dominates the portico from on high.
Yeah.
Look, it's all made of white marble. Look, it is.
They've
look,
got
it's
the Italian
impressive.
flags, and it's huge.
Yeah, look, it's colossal, but it just,
yeah,
it's just out of place. I think it just, with
I think
because it's right at the where the Capitol Hill was, and I think part of the reason why they're a bit, the Italians that are a bit dirty on it, when they built it, they had to excavate like part of Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
So, which is obviously ancient Rome.
But if you don't know the history of it, know that people don't like it. I actually don't think it's out of place. I think it actually dominates and looks good in the plaza.
Well, when I first saw it, the first thing I thought was, "Wow, what the hell is that?"
Yeah. Anyway, all right. So go and check out the pictures. As I said, let me know what you think. Is it a wedding cake or a typewriter or just a big white elephant? I don't know. What did you think?
Well, it was, especially at night when it was lit up, I thought it was fabulous.
Yeah, I did too. So now it's dark and the streets, everything's being lit up, and so was this building. And not maybe 50 meters to one side once you leave Piazza, just outside Piazza Venezia, is a whole lot of Roman ruins, right? So there's another road that goes from Piazza Venezia all the way down to the Colosseum. And on one side of the road is like another forum of Trajan, right? And on the other side is like the Roman forum that we've talked about. And all these old Roman ruins are lit up, the columns, and, it looks amazing. But the first thing you come across when you leave Piazza Venezia is this massive column, this Trajan's column, and it's lit up from the bottom. And tell us about that, because it's hard to sort of explain until you know what it is, Dom.
Okay, so Trajan's column consists of 17 colossal rocks, cylindrical, shaped monolithic elements with a diameter of about 4 meters. These wrap around the pillar 23 times and are decorated with astonishing reliefs. Almost 200 meters of precious white marble.
And I have got amazing close-up photos of this. It's stunning. You're not going to believe it. Go and have a look.
Yeah. So basically the reliefs are
carved.
They're carved history of Trajan's
story. History,
yeah.
And Trajan is an emperor, was he?
Correct, yeah. Okay. A spiral staircase is contained within the shaft's interior, which measures 12 feet or 3.7 meters. In diameter. At first, a bronze eagle hair had been placed on the top of the column. After Trajan's death, a bronze statue of the deceased emperor, which was replaced in 1588 by a statue of St. Peter.
Yeah.
Now, apparently, the statue of Trajan was very, very expensive.
Right.
Was worth a lot of money. So. Yeah. I think the old Catholic Church came in again and thought, well, we'll just put a cheaper version of St. Peter on the top there. And
you can go up the stairs, right?
Yeah, inside the column, a spiral staircase of 185 steps gives access to a viewing platform at the top. The capital block of Trajan's column weighs 53 tonne, which had to be lifted to a height of 34 metres.
I have this really good photo of the top of Trajan's column, and it shows the viewing platform and the top of the column and the statue. And like how high is this thing again? Like meters high, and it's got this tiny little not a very big barrier around the viewing platform, is there? But
No.
anyway, I wouldn't go up there myself because it's too high, really. But it's pretty spectacular, and I've got some nice photos of it lit up at night. And so that was at the beginning of this road, and so then we headed down. What's that road called?
It's called
Yeah,
the Via del Fori
yeah,
Imperiale.
oh, good. Okay, so
Did you get that?
can you?
Do you want me to do it again?
No, I don't. Let's just keep walking. So we've left Piazza Venezia. We've seen Trajan's Column. We're walking past Trajan's Forum, which is basically, like all the Roman ruins of, the city that he, or his sort of area that he had in Rome. And that's on one side.
Yeah, so a lot of the emperors had their own forums.
Forums, yeah. And on the other side is the Roman Forum with Palatine Hill and all that stuff.
Yeah,
right?
basically Caesar's.
But the thing that stands out is, right at the end, glowing almost in the dark with this golden light, is the Colosseum. And it's another one of those things that's impressive by day, but wow, at night.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah, that whole road, as you said, on both sides was just amazing. The way they've lit it up, it's almost like it's not real. But as Leanne said, the Colosseum at the end, I was just blown away with the size of it. And I know this sounds crazy, but the beauty and the remarkable history of the Colosseum.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
It was just fabulous.
Yeah, we talked a lot about the Colosseum in our previous episode, but so go and have a listen to that if you want to know more about that, because we've got lots of info. But we got some nice photos. We had a wander around there. There's another big sort of Arc de Triomphe down that end, which was lit up as well.
Yeah, that's Constantine's Arch.
Yeah, it was great. It was, and so I really enjoyed this moonlight walk because that was the end of the sort of main part of it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And there were some other highlights that we're going to talk about in a minute, but I'm going to put a link to this tour that we did in the website, the show notes that go with this. So if you go to the podcast player on now and go to the episode description, there's a link to episode 68 there, where you can go and get the link to this and have a look at the photos as well, because honestly, there's some beautiful photos that we took of walking around Rome in the moonlight. Yes?
Yeah, look, and, so these are a couple of others that you really can't miss. There's the Piazza de Spagna with the Spanish steps leading up to the French monastery church, the Trinita de Monti, and that's neighboured by the astonishingly beautiful Villa Medici. So as you look up the steps, it's,
They light up there.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is,
and then probably it's not a really big piazza, but probably one of my favourites. And it's because I don't know what it was, just the restaurants around it, just the colour. It was just fabulous. Is the Piazza Mignanelli, with the beautiful Colonna del Immacolata, which is the column is relatively new to the internal city. It dates back to 1857 and has a statue of the Virgin Mary on the top.
Yeah,
now it's 12 metres high.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting story. Firemen had been responsible for erecting the giant column here originally, and every year on the 8th of December, a fireman climbs right up to the top of the statue and hangs a wreath of flowers, usually white roses, from Mary's arm. The same day, the Pope also visits the statue to honour Mary and address the crowd.
So some poor fireman has to climb up.
Well, I'm sure that it'd be on honour for whoever gets chosen each year, but I'd love to be there to watch that. I think that'd be fabulous.
Sure.
Now, for me, what we've been told, and we didn't actually do, but I would love to have done it, was to view Rome at night from
the Borghese Gardens.
Yeah, the Pincio Terrace.
Now, that's another place we talked about in episode 67. We went up there because it's the highest spot in Rome.
Correct.
Yeah, and you get you can see all the domes, but imagine it lit up at night, the St. Peter's Dome. But below that is the other plaza at the end of Via del Corso, which is Piazza Popolo.
Correct. Yeah. So
we did go there at night, though. We did go and have a look at that. It was pretty nice, for sure.
Did we?
Yeah. When they had the music playing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, and the Pincio Terrace is right on the edge of the Borghese Gardens, and it's basically adjacent to, as Leanne said, the St. Peter's Basilica. So it is fabulous.
Yeah. So, and the other thing I loved about this walking around the streets of Rome at night, it's just full of life, isn't it? There's restaurants and street performers and some of the best singers, people were just gathered and entranced by some of the people, just singing acoustically on the side, around the corner. There's little plazas and things around this main area, and lots of tourists out walking, but also locals. It's a bit like a fashion parade, isn't it?
Yeah, they say that Via del Corso.
Yeah,
they say that's where people go to be seen.
Yeah, so it's.
It's exceptional, and it's everything's so close.
Yeah, and it's safe, and we're not out late. As I said, the sun's going down. Well, it was quite late by the time it gets dark there. But I'd certainly, it's a great time to explore Rome, and it's also not as hot as in the day, isn't it?
Yeah, correct.
One of our favourite things to do each night, though, in Rome, wasn't it?
Yes.
Was to visit our favourite little bar called the Highlander Bar.
Yes.
And this bar was about 30 metres from the front entrance of our apartment.
Yep.
And luckily, because I don't know that we would have found it any other way, because it's underground.
It is underground, and all there is the doorway, and there's a sign across the top, Highlander. So, look, to be honest, you'd miss it so easily.
So Highlander Bar. But there's a few things I loved about it was, and the way they sell it on their website and stuff is they say all imaginable sports live and on request.
Sure.
Yeah, and we didn't go there for that reason. We just thought it'd be a nice little spot to have a drink before we went out at night. But when you go down into the bar, the first thing you see is the wooden bar with it's not modern. It's like it's got real character to it. And there's probably 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 different little rooms, and they've all got a couple of TVs each and a couple of old, lounges and chairs and tables to sit at. But it just had the best atmosphere, didn't it? And the best looking bartenders in town too, just, quietly.
If I tell you the truth, Leanne said I'm not allowed to talk about Angelo.
No, well...
Come on, you tell me about Angelo.
No, well, he was just a really good looking, right, but a really helpful, nice guy, and he took his time to draw us a map and tell us places we should go, and he was very, very helpful. And there was another barman there who was an American guy, and he knew more about cricket than most Australians.
Yeah, he was pretty cool.
Because we were watching the test, an English-Australian Ashes test, and we went down there every day to watch it. And then there was another time we went down, and there was about, I don't know, a dozen Aussies in there.
Yeah, it was the last day of the test.
Yeah, yes.
And it was close. So, the atmosphere was fabulous.
And then someone said, have you got the state of origin? So we're in the middle of Rome.
Yeah, well, you better explain what the state of origin is.
I was just about to, but thank you for that. Yes, the state of origin is a rugby league game in Australia, and there's 2 states that hate each other, New South Wales and Queensland, and they have 3 games each season, and the best of 3 wins, and New South Wales is by far has the most wins. So this year,
I beg your pardon.
He's not even listening. He hasn't got any notes for this, so he's tuned out.
I got to tell you, that's bullshit, folks.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. As I said, I'm from New South Wales, and he's not even from either, so I don't see that you get a say. But the fact is, you're in the middle of Rome, and this is something that only a couple of, 2 states of Australia know about, and people are there to watch it. And
I couldn't believe it. It was going to be the last game of the 3, and this particular afternoon, another Aussie guy there said to the barman, the bar person, is the state of origin going to be on tomorrow?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking the bar person's going to have no idea what he's talking about, but I was incorrect.
Yeah.
The bar person turned around and he said, yep, definitely. He said it starts at 11 o'clock. He said, but be here by about 10. He said, because the place will be packed.
Yeah. So,
and I couldn't believe it. We would have gone, but we were leaving that morning.
Yeah, so
look, it was a great bar. They thoroughly looked after us.
It's open 365 days a year. So they don't close for any days from 11 a.m. till 2 a.m.
Because we heard one night, remember?
Yahoo and some sort of game. And they do €9 cocktails, so that's pretty good. Unless it's Tuesday and it's Ladies' Day, and you get €7 cocktails from 4 p.m. all night. How cool is that?
Thank goodness I didn't know that.
Yeah. But I think the action really gets happening later in the night, which wasn't really our style. But after 11 p.m., they've got like a theme every night. So they've got beer pong every night. They do karaoke. They have.
I think that was the night we heard them.
Oh, was it? Yeah. So they have music as well. So it just is a great place to go and feel at home.
It's really welcoming.
Yeah, it is. I really loved it. So we were keen to go down there. They had nice cold beer.
I think there was out of the 7 nights we were in Rome, I think we maybe missed one. Yeah, I think.
Did we?
Yeah, it was, and we'd go there about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, have a couple of beers, watch the last bit of the test, and then we'd head out for dinner.
Yeah, we would. And it was so that's the Highlander Bar. I'm going to put a link to that in the show notes to go with this episode. So remember, go to the podcast player you're listening on, or now we're on YouTube. Go there and you'll see the link to episode 68, and all the pictures and so I've got pictures of the Highlander Bar in there, and links to it, because it's got a great website and they have great social media as well. So it's worth going to check that out. So, Lyle, we've come to the end.
Rome.
But next week, we're changing it up a bit. We're still in Italy, okay? And don't you give things away. He's a real, what do you call it? Like, what do they say? Spoiler alert. You do that a lot. You give it away. But I will just say we're doing something different, and we're going to be very intrepid. So how's that?
Oh,
you like that?
I do like that.
Hey,
well done, Leonita.
Thank you.
You've been thinking about that for hours.
There we go. Yeah. Anyway, so if you have liked this episode, we've got any value out of any of our episodes, we'd really love it if you'd go to the podcast player or YouTube that you're listening on now, and either subscribe or follow. That would be really appreciated. So until next week, it's goodbye from me.
Arrivederci.